9 men have pleaded not guilty to people smuggling at a court in Greece over last week's migrant ship disaster. At least 81 people are known to have drowned after the boat capsized. As many as 500 are still missing.
It's here, in the small Greek town of Malakassa, where the survivors of last week's shipwreck are being held in a migrant camp, and where relatives of the missing come in hope of finding their loved ones.
And last night I don't have any option. I want to come here for talk to survivors, but they don't allow me. We are very. Kirk, he's the one. I don't know if he's alive or not.
22-year-old Atiya Al-Saeed survived unharmed, but his uncle, shown here on a relative's phone, is one of the 100 still missing.
I'm looking for him, and his name is Abdo El Sayed El Dadaman. I call on all authorities to help me find him.
The European Border and Coast Guard Agency released these pictures showing the vessel hours before it capsized. Greek officials are insisting those on board were refusing help, but the United Nations has called for an investigation into how authorities handled the disaster. Among the stories of despair, a rare moment of joy. A Syrian teenager who survived the shipwreck is reunited with his elder brother in an emotional embrace.
Well, hundreds of people are still missing following the tragedy, and many of them are believed to be from Pakistan. The families there are in limbo as they are waiting anxiously for any news about their loved ones.
It's a recurring tragedy. Hundreds of migrants drowned in the capsized boat are believed to be from Pakistan. The news has sent shockwaves to relatives here in Pakistani-administered Kashmir. According to local media, at least 100 of the migrants on board were from this area. The disaster has left families here in limbo. Some still cling to the belief that the young men from their village will be found alive.
When children are not found or die, you can understand what a parent goes through. What is happening to us? We have no information whether they're alive or dead. We pray to Allah, let us see them.
Almost 100 kilometers away in the town of Mandra, this retired government officer is losing hope that his 25-year-old son may still be alive. A local travel agent took $7,600 from him to transport his son to Europe with the promise of finding well-paying work. Instead, his son was stuck in Libya for months before boarding the overcrowded fishing boat.
They took him to some place in Tripoli, in Libya, where, according to my son, many young men had been kept for 2 to 3 years. Their hair was overgrown, and in some cases full of lice. There was no one there to look after them or give them food. They didn't have money to get them back to Pakistan. When I heard this, I told my son to drop everything and come back. I called the agent and told him to send my son back, but he did nothing for 4 months.
The economic, political and climate crisis is pushing thousands of young Pakistanis to flee the country by legal or illegal means, even if it means risking their lives.
For more on this, we're joined now by our reporter, Binish Javed. Binish, this is a horrific story. Tell us more about how people in Pakistan are responding to it.
Terry, there is this overwhelming sense of grief in the country. Pakistani authorities estimate that around 300 families have been affected. Yesterday was an official day of mourning in the country. Pakistan has also formed a committee to investigate the incident. Pakistani media was at the homes of these families talking to them. And then there have been editorials written that how such a large number could be lured by human traffickers to take such dangerous journey. So there is definitely a lot of sadness, but also anger and pressure on the government.
Talk to us more about that question, why. Help us understand, at least to some degree, why young Pakistanis decide to undertake such a dangerous and uncertain journey.
Pakistan has been going through multiple crises for a very long time. Pakistan has been hit by one of its worst economic crises. And I think this tragedy to me reflects the frustration and the hopelessness that young people in Pakistan have. We've seen in the report that one of the 25-year-old missing is son of a government official. So basically, they have roof over their head, they have food to eat, but it's the hopelessness, the desperation and the frustration of what their future would be. And that is driving young people out of the country. People are selling their property, the jewelry of their family, livestock, taking loans to pay thousands of euros to human traffickers just so that their children can, even though they know that this journey will be dangerous, but they are willing to take this risk just in the hope that there will be, if they land in Europe, they will have a better life. They'll be able to support and provide for their families. And I think that is the heart of the problem, the hopelessness that we see in the young people.
We heard in a report about the price that these people are paying to get themselves smuggled into Europe. Are there no legal means for people who have that kind of money to get into Germany, for example?
It is extremely difficult through legal means to apply for jobs. It's a complicated problem. You need a high level of skill set to apply for these jobs. There's competition from the entire world, and therefore people are taking these kind of routes, illegal routes, paying human traffickers to apply for these jobs. And even through legal means, if we see that Pakistan had one of its worst brain drain in recent years, so people even are applying and trying to exhaust all the legal options they have to leave the country.
So it's real desperation that's driving them. What are authorities in Pakistan doing to stop the human trafficking that results in this kind of tragedy?
So Pakistani authorities say they have arrested some suspects they believe are involved in human trafficking. But I don't think that is the solution to the problem. It's a very sophisticated network of human traffickers operating in the region. There are people not only from Pakistan, but also from Afghanistan, from India, from Bangladesh that are being trafficked. And often these local operators sell a group of migrants to other operators. So if there has to be a successful crackdown on human traffickers, it has to be done at the international level. But I think Pakistan has to create opportunities and jobs for its people so they are not motivated to leave the country, because no matter what happens, how many human traffickers are arrested, there will always be people who would try to capitalize on people's dreams.
Binish, thank you very much. Reporter Binish Javed.